Welcome back, bandits. I'm Red Bandit, and today we have yet another episode of GTA Classics. Today we're discussing the top, scariest, and downright freakiest myths in the entire GTA franchise. If you guys do enjoy this video, make sure you drive by that like button down below. So coming in at number 1 is the serial killer from GTA San Andreas. For those of you familiar with this game, you may or may not know about the Easter egg hidden in the desert near Area 69. This Easter egg is of course a deep mass grave filled with 6 body bags, and no one seems to know where they originated from. Many players throughout the world have actually stated that they've witnessed a strange mysterious character in a trench coat and a top hat near this area, and that if you get too close to him, sometimes he's been known to stab pedestrians, stab the player themselves, and even tried to ram them off the road. The idea of a serial killer in this area is made even more scary by the fact that just west of the area, there's actually an abandoned town in the middle of the desert called El Diablo, and for those of you who are unfamiliar with that language, that translates to the devil. As you can see on your screen here, this is the character that many people say is the serial killer in the game. He can be found wandering around the desert towns and streets, and it's a rather rare occurrence to actually come across him. He's definitely a shady character, and he does fit the idea of a serial killer from the stereotypes. The most unsettling part about this is that a majority of the game is spent in the desert, and while we explore the map at night on our own, it's just kind of unsettling to know that someone could literally be following us. Next up is a really spooky myth, again coming from GTA San Andreas. This one, when I was younger and I found it on YouTube, it literally gave me the chills, and I still can't really watch it today without feeling some sort of unnerving terror. This myth is very simple, but it's very rare at the same time. Some players say while they're exploring the areas of the map around the desert, they will often get a mysterious phone call on CJ's phone. Upon answering this phone call, well, listen for yourself. But I'll give you a warning, it's really spooky.
Who is this?
Now this actually ties in with another myth from the game that is extremely scary, based off of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, aka the famous character known as Leatherface. And some players even claim that Leatherface, or an NPC wielding a chainsaw who looks extremely scary, somewhat hillbilly-like, can actually be found in the woodlands around the game, dotted in several cabins in the remote areas. Upon approaching this character, he's said to also chase CJ with a chainsaw. What makes this really scary is if you go into the woods in the game at night in foggy or rainy conditions, let's just say the least, the area is very unsettling. And even though we know it's just a video game, it definitely makes me have goosebumps all over my arms, and I definitely don't want to come across this character if they exist. Some more things to back this up is also that the weird noise on the end of the phone does sound somewhat similar to a chainsaw. That, or it sounds like some sort of interference on the phone. Some people have also explored the areas of the countryside and found these strange trees chopped down from what looks like a chainsaw. Fair enough, it may just be trees chopped down for wood, but at the same time it's very freaky to see these nonetheless. The last thing that ties into this is some people have linked this with the mysterious wheelchair that's abandoned out in the middle of the map. This wheelchair can be found on a pier by a little lake, and it's rather unsettling to say the least, the fact that this rusty, scary wheelchair is just sitting there waiting for us to explore. I really don't want to explore this area at night or in the rain, because if we look around, I do not want to see anyone standing behind me. This next one comes from GTA Vice City, and it takes place in the Starfish Island Vicinity Estate, a mansion that previously belonged to Ricardo Diaz, and he's the main target in this myth itself. Now in the story of GTA Vice City, we actually take over this mansion and kill Diaz in the mission Rub Out. However, some players claim that after completing this mission and completing the game to 100%, they can actually see the ghost of Diaz walking the mansion. Those of you unfamiliar with the GTA series may think this is absolutely ridiculous, but this isn't the first time Rockstar Games have added a ghost into their games. No, in fact, in GTA 5, a very real ghost can be found on the mountain that actually appears at 3 AM. So we can't throw the idea completely out the window that a ghost may be lurking the mansion. Another thing to note is that Rockstar Games is highly inspired by the Stanley Kubrick movie The Shining, and that takes place in an abandoned ski resort throughout the winter. And in that movie there is a lot of strange events where the main character slowly turns crazy. The idea of wandering a huge mansion on your own at night in Vice City is unsettling as it is. The area is huge, and some players claim that at 12 o'clock at midnight or sometimes at 3 AM you can see a strange model of Ricardo Diaz that's somewhat transparent walking around the mansion. Other times, if Tommy Vercetti is standing on his own for a while, the camera will automatically focus on things around him. That's a common feature in the game, but some players are convinced that if they stand long enough, the camera will follow someone who's not even there. I have to say, this is really freaky, and I definitely don't want to explore that mansion on my own. Next up we have the Ratman from GTA 4. This myth is extremely popular and pretty much started the whole myth hunting altogether in games in the HD universe for Grand Theft Auto. And the Ratman myth goes as follows. In GTA 4, in the deep dark subway systems, sometimes a strange character called Ratman can be found. No, this doesn't mean it's half man half rat, although some people do claim so themselves. There's tons of abandoned buildings throughout the game with strange markings and strange areas in the game. Not only this, but in the subway system, sometimes blood splatters and strange orange mess can be found on the floor. Some people have said this is rust, but other people say this is the sign and proof itself that there's something strange lurking below. Going down into the subway system is definitely very unsettling, and sometimes hobos down there and people that are living down there in the game can be found dead. This may be drug overdose or something really dark, or it could be something even darker down in the depths of the myth. Some people say that Ratman can even be heard running and talking to Nico. Other times, Nico has been reported to have fallen over with no one around. Let's just say to stay away from the subway and never go back. The final myth here today is the appearance of ghost cars and ghost planes in GTA San Andreas. Another GTA San Andreas entry here. It truly is the master of the myths and legends in the GTA franchise. These ghost cars are very real, but the meaning behind them is still unknown to this day, and it's extremely unsettling. If you go into the woods in GTA San Andreas, you can indeed find strange smashed up cars that sometimes even roll down the hill towards the player. These vehicles sometimes can't even be fixed by taking them to a pay and spray and trying to repair the vehicle. The strangest part about this is that the model of vehicle is pretty much always a Glendale, and the vehicles have been smashed beyond repair. The strangest part as well is going here in foggy and rainy conditions, sometimes the vehicle's headlights are still on and the engines are still running, as if the events have just occurred. Some say these are vehicles that are left behind by ghosts, and others say they have seen them driving around the map with no one in them. I definitely do not want to come across one of these that's moving and tries to follow my player, because I would be out of there quicker than you can say ghost. Comment down below the secret keyword for today, ghost hunter. Comment that down in the comment section below if you've watched this far into today's video, and if you did enjoy, make sure to share it with all of your friends. Another appearance of this is the ghost planes in the game as well. Another very real occurrence that I couldn't get any footage of myself. It's so rare in fact that this only occurs once or twice throughout the entire playthrough of the game, and basically the myth of this is that planes randomly crash and explode in the areas of the game. The weirdest part about this is that it seems to be drawn to CJ himself, and the appearance of where it occurs is nowhere specific on the map. In fact, this can happen anywhere from Los Santos town centre deep into the heart of the woodlands. The most common places this can occur, however, are on Mount Chiliad, where planes like Spitfires and Rustler aircraft can also crash randomly without any warning. If you are wandering the map of GTA San Andreas, you may very well hear the engines of a plane roaring. Then shortly after, you'll hear a massive explosion, but no plane will be found. Other times you may find a plane with a burning wreckage, and there's no clues as to why it has crashed or why it crashed in that area specifically. It's very spooky indeed, and I definitely don't want to come across any of these while I'm on my own at night. Let me know down below if I've missed any myths that you guys think should have been on this list, and if you want to see a part 2, let me know as well. I'll be creating tons of GTA Classic videos in the current weeks, and I'll try and get an episode pushed out once per week. For you guys who enjoy the classic GTA titles, videos as much as me. If you have any ideas for future episodes, please also don't hesitate to let me know down in the comment section below, because I read all of your comments and I want to know what you think is the scariest myths in the game. The next episode is going to be the top 10 scariest Easter eggs in the GTA franchise, so if you're excited to hear more, make sure you subscribe. Stay myth hunting, stay alert, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.